Aloha! I am John Roth, and this is Just Ask John, where I, an estate planning attorney, answer your estate planning questions. Today, we have Taylor Easley, a financial advisor, here to help us answer the very common question, should I hold my investments in trust? So Taylor, as an estate planning attorney, a lot of times people will come into my office and mistake me for a financial advisor. And I say, no, I do not give any financial advice. The only thing that I do is I help you put together a plan to make sure your wishes are carried out in the event of incapacity or death. And those documents generally include a will, power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, and sometimes a trust. Yeah. We rely on the financial advisor to help our clients transfer their assets into trust. So Taylor, should investment accounts be held in trust? What's your experience as a financial advisor with clients?
Generally speaking, accounts should always be in trust if the trust exists, or if they don't have a trust, then they can designate a beneficiary on the account. We've seen some examples where if they're not in trust or they don't have a designated beneficiary and they're just an individual account and something happens to someone, then they go through probate, and then that whole process takes a long time and it costs a lot of money. So generally speaking, trust is good.
Right, so if someone dies, the account, if it's not in trust and does not have a designated beneficiary, it's potentially going to trigger probate, which is in Hawaii triggered when an account or accounts that total $100,000 or more are in a deceased person's name that are not held in trust and do not have designated beneficiaries. So I agree with you. That's great. What about during the lifetime of your clients? When we're talking about trusts here, we're talking about the standard revocable living trust. And so some people I find are confused about how that works. When you hold something in your own revocable living trust, does that change how they work with you or how they interact with their investments?
So that's a good question, and I think that's really important in regards to having a trust, is if something happens to a client and they become incapacitated, the language on the trust can allow us to help that client with using someone else, and it's a lot easier than if they didn't have that account in a trust. Did that make sense?
Yeah, we call that incapacity planning.
Yeah.
The difficult thing is if you're living but unable to manage your own financial affairs, where someone needs to step in for you during your lifetime and help you pay the bills, pay for healthcare costs. So in addition to potentially avoiding probate during the lifetime of your client, the incapacity planning benefit of having an account in trust you've seen be helpful?
For sure, 100%, very helpful. And so one of the big things that we do and how it works with you guys really well is the first thing I do is I gather the balance sheet, so you have a good idea of all their assets and all their accounts, and then we work closely with you guys to make sure that they're titled properly, and things are, if there's a trust, things are in trust, or if they don't have a beneficiary on the individual account, we designate a beneficiary, things like that.
Yeah, and same with us. We don't help our clients with financial planning, but we do go through an interview sheet where we go through their assets and we talk to them about what they want to have happen to their assets after their lifetime. But we don't help manage their assets during their lifetime. And there's a benefit when we're helping people create an estate plan when that client lets us know, oh, I have a financial advisor and we have a good relationship and here's their email address. Can you please send a copy of the trust directly to them? So we are helping with the creation of an estate plan, and then we help just with the facilitation of making sure the documents are provided to the financial advisor, because the financial advisor is the one that helps the client properly title the assets. So I do like when there's at least a conversation or an email, just so I know that my clients are getting that information to you. Because I see a lot of times where clients come into my office who've had trusts for 20 years, we're updating, and I go through their assets, and one, they don't know whether their accounts are in trust or not. I say, okay, you have this account, and is it in your trust? Is your home in your trust? And they don't know, because really when you hold something in trust, it doesn't change your own revocable living trust. It doesn't change how you interact with that asset. So a lot of times people don't know whether an asset is in trust or not. Financial
And that's where
advisor.
we step in too, is once you give us the documents, then we can update the accounts to the trust. Hopefully it's a trust.
Well, thank you very much for
You're
joining us
welcome.
today, Taylor. Today we answered, or attempted to answer, provided a little insight into should I hold my investments in trust. And so please, if you have any questions, comment below or go to our website, hawaiitrustlaw.com. Thank you. Aloha.